So, you've just become a team lead. That is a big step. Or maybe you became one a while ago and it still doesn't feel quite natural. Either way, let's talk about it. You've gone from being this great engineer or maybe an architect to leading the team. And that's probably one of the biggest changes you will make in your career. Probably feels a bit strange, maybe even a little bit scary. I remember exactly how that felt when I first became a manager. But the main thing to realize is that leadership is just a different job. It's not a talent that only a few people are born with or that some people have. It's a skill and anyone can learn it, you as well. There are 6 things that really matter most when you become a team lead. And let me take you through them one by one. First, like I said, it is a different job. It's completely different from what you did before as a senior software engineer or a senior infrastructure architect or something else. Think back to how you became that engineer. Maybe you studied software, maybe you learned to code at university. Either way, in your first job, you were very junior. You'd write code, you'd send it in, a senior engineer would review it, you get a lot of feedback, and you do it again over and over. Maybe you read some books on code or architecture or design patterns, maybe the training, listened to a couple of podcasts. You probably went to YouTube as well, Stack Overflow. It took a lot of time and effort to get good at software engineering. And over time, you did. You became the senior software engineer. You're still coding, but now you're also doing the architecture, you're reviewing other people's code, you're giving some advice, you're coaching the juniors a bit. And then one day, recently, you became the team lead. Now you oversee the team, and in principle, you don't code hands-on anymore. You're not the most senior engineer in the room anymore, and it's almost like you have to set all that previous experience aside because what you're doing right now, leadership, is a very different role. And don't get me wrong, right? Those engineering skills, the senior skills that you had are going to help you out. But your real job now is to lead the team. And the most important thing to remember about the change is this one. It is a different skill. And you learn it the same way that you learned how to code. You're almost a junior again. You start at the beginning, you do it, you get feedback, you make mistakes, and you slowly get better and better at it. You get good at engineering by putting in the time. Leadership is no different. Let me tell you my own story. I made the switch a long time ago, 20 years now, and it was so strange. Before that, my strength was being very senior. I was an infra guy, and I basically knew everything. Anything that broke, I could fix it. And then I made the switch. The new job, and it was very strange not to be touching the keyboard anymore, not logging onto systems, not making any config changes, not pushing changes into production, not troubleshooting anything. Instead, I spent my entire day in meetings and talking to people, and I was overseeing their work and making sure that they got it right. And it's really such a strange thing to go through. But the most important part is this. It's a new skill and you can learn it from scratch. Even senior leaders can learn still. I once coached a CIO decades into her career, and she still had to let go of the hands-on work herself. I'll come back to her story later because hers is a trap that almost everyone falls into. Anyway, leadership is just a skill and anyone can learn it, but it is a different job. The second most important thing to realize is that the results now come from others. So here's what changes the most, and it's actually a good thing once you realize it. On your own, you could only ever do so much. You had 40, maybe 50 or 60 hours a week, and that was it. Now you've got a team, 5, 6, 7 people. That gives you maybe 200, 300, even 400 hours a week that you can work with. And the better that you lead them, the more that they get done, the more that you get done. So the catch is really the results don't come from you anymore. They don't come from the work that you do, they come from the team, which means your job right now is about the people. There's 2 parts to that. First, you have to enable them. Whatever they need to do the work, they have the time, the focus, the right equipment, the processes, the tools. It's your job to get that for them. Clear their path and make sure that they can do the job. Second, and this one actually took me probably a bit too long to realize, you genuinely need to care about them. So let me tell you a story, and I learned this along the way. I learned how to show real interest in people. Monday morning, before I asked for anything, I asked status update or anything, I'd ask about the weekend. And at first, I didn't really care. I just wanted to get a job done. But I knew that I had to ask about the weekend first to clear the path and just to get some connection before I could ask about work. A few years later, something changed for me. And I started to genuinely care about the people that I worked with. And it changed everything. When I asked about the weekend, it was real, genuine. And people started coming to me for advice. And today, I still have friendships with former colleagues that have lasted for years. When the results come from your team, the personal relationship that you have with them, it really matters. Third, you have a different set of priorities now. Build the team. Make sure that you have the right people. If someone on a team isn't performing, of course, you give them feedback. You help them, you support them, you coach them. And sometimes, yes, unfortunately, you also have to let people go. Getting the right people on the team is one of the most important things that you do as a leader. Actually, delegating the work without it falling apart is a skill of its own. And I'm going to do a completely separate video on that very soon. Set the priorities for your team. Every team I see has too many. And there's always someone outside the team that's trying to add more or add something on top that is in their interest and maybe not in yours. It's your job and only your job to set those priorities. Limit to 3, just 1, 2, and 3. And everyone on the team should be able to tell you what they are. How you actually get down to 3 and protect them is also a video of its own, and you can expect it soon. The other part to this is recognition. Recognize people. People do a lot better work when they feel recognized. And it doesn't have to be money. Sometimes it's just a little thank you, a pat on the back. Some people like that in public, getting recognition on stage, like being the engineer of the week or something. And others just want to hear privately, quietly what they did well. Recognition is not something that comes natural to most of us. It certainly doesn't come natural to me. We tend to look at someone, what could they do better? What's negative? What's not going well? And where can someone improve? There's nothing wrong with that. It's human nature. But if that's all that your team hears from you, they start to feel like nothing is ever good enough. So you have to balance. And yes, things can always be better, but they're doing well and they need to hear it. I had to learn this the hard way as well. And it's harder when you're a senior engineer because the people that are working for you are more junior and they aren't at your level of coding or expertise yet. But balancing that honest feedback that you still want to give them because they have to grow with steady recognition is really the way to go. Own the culture. How the team works together is on you now. There will be disagreements, people who don't work well together, but sorting that out is your job now. The fourth point about being a new leader is really what sets you apart. As a senior engineer, you are probably one of the best one around, if not the best one around. And now you're a team lead and you're almost back at the bottom again. Day one, you're not going to be the best leader out there. And that's fine. Nobody is the first time that they're a team lead. So what still sets you apart? What makes you special? All that engineering knowledge, of course. All that experience, it's still yours. What really changes is how you use it. Before, you used your experience by doing the work yourself or by giving someone feedback on their code. Now, you're in the perfect spot to use that same experience as judgment. When those priorities have to be set, the ones that I talked about, when the team is arguing about how to solve something, that's where your experience comes in. That's how you set the team up for success. And there's a second way that it also still counts. You are a role model for the team. Your team, the juniors, they watch how you work, how you deal with the pressure, how you treat people. The best leaders that I've ever had didn't give me feedback. They believed in me and they genuinely wanted me to do well. And that stuck with me years later. I remember them today. And that's what I try to be for my team now. You spend years becoming someone that's worth learning from. That doesn't go away. You just have to point all that experience in a new direction. So the biggest trap, and almost every first-time lead falls into it, you go back to your old job. Don't start coding again. Don't take those code reviews back. If you build a team properly, you have other senior engineers and let them do the code reviews, the feedback to the juniors, let them do the hands-on work. The pull to you to go back to the work is strong because it's what you're really good at and it's comfortable and it feels very easy. This trap, it doesn't go away on its own. It shows up at every level. Remember that CIO that I mentioned earlier? Let me tell you the full story. She was leading a reasonably sized team. This was a big company and she'd been with the company for over a decade. One of the reasons that she came to me was that she was still working far too many hours, 50, 60 a week, and it was really taking a toll on her personal life. When we looked at it, here's what I saw. She had a decade of experience in this company. She'd been through all these different teams. She knew almost every system. And whenever something came up that nobody else in her team could handle, she'd pick it up and fix it herself. And this didn't happen like once a month. Almost twice a week, something would come up and she'd go hands-on and solve it. Think about her actual job. She's a CIO. She's leading multiple teams. She's supposed to be setting the strategy, sitting in board meetings, talk to senior stakeholders across the organization, managing budget. With all of that on her plate, she can't also be fixing tickets. And that's the point. This trap, it's not just something that first-time leaders do. It happens at every level. It's a big trap and it's so easy to fall into. She never learned to let go and it held her back. It cost her evenings and her weekends. If you learn to let go now, right at the start, you're already ahead of some people that are 2 levels above you. Don't make her mistake. The fix, it is to train your people to do the things that only you can do right now. Find somebody to train up. You can't drop everything on them overnight, but you can start handing over the work. You train them, you do the hands over, and they start picking up from you. Don't fall into this trap. Number 5, what do you actually do when you start as a new leader? First, stop. Stop doing your old work. Don't keep doing your senior engineering work on the side. Put your energy into becoming the best team lead that you can be. Like I said, it's a skill, so get into it. Embrace it, then start with 3 things. Get the full picture of the work. What's everyone working on? What's the roadmap? What are the plans for the next 3, 6, or 12 months? What don't you know yet? What's coming and what you need to see early on? Understand the environment and talk to your new manager, talk to your key stakeholders. Figure out everything going on in the organization that could probably impact or land with your team. Getting good with those stakeholders is a skill of its own. And again, I'll come back to that one in a later video. Get to know your team. Who are they really? Why are they there? How long have they been there? What do they want from their career? What are they great at? Where do they need to go? Where do they need to grow? Get to know them as well as you can and as fast as you can. And while you're doing all of that, ask for feedback. Ask your manager, your stakeholders, your new peers, and your own team the same question. How is this team seen by the rest of the organization? What's really going well and what isn't? Your team will tell you how they think it's going, of course, and probably very positive. Your peers and your stakeholders will tell you how it looks from the outside. Another story. Get all of that feedback. Do all of this, and you're going to start so strong instead of just playing catch up for the first year or 2 years. One last thing, and this is something that nobody really warns you about. When you step up to a leadership role, there are some things you're going to lose. And it's worth knowing that when you're getting into it. And it's okay because this loss, it comes with the job. First, we talked about it, you lose the hands-on work. Most of us get into technology because we love the hands-on part. The building, the engineering, the servers, the code, you're going to lose all of that. You still get to see it, you'll be close to it, but it's not hands-on anymore. It's from the sidelines only. Embrace it. As a senior engineer, you take pride in your own work. Now, take pride in what your team delivers. The better they do, the better you've done. So give them everything they need, the feedback, the coaching, the training, all of it, get there. You'll become less part of the team. As you lead, you stand a bit above the team now. And this is a lot harder than it sounds because if you were in this team before, these people were your peers, maybe even your friends. Yesterday, you were one of them and you were in the same trenches working with them on the results. Today, you're the one who sets their priorities, who gives them feedback sometimes, which can be painful, and sometimes tells them things they don't want to hear. A lot of new team leads try to stay one of the gang. You can't, not fully. And it is a loss. You get a new set of peers, the other team leads and your manager, but you don't spend 40 hours a week with them. You see them in a meeting maybe once or twice a week, and it's not the same thing. And leadership can get lonely. The more senior you get, the lonelier it gets. Let me tell you about a time that this really impacted me. I was leading this very large team and there was a lot going on. Issues inside my team, issues with my manager, reorganizations being planned. And there was really nobody that I could talk to about any of this, about how it all felt and what it did to me. I was driving big changes. And I had no peers to lean on. The peers I had didn't understand my job and I couldn't go into depth with them. They also didn't have the time anyway. My manager, same thing, no time. And my own team, I can't confide in them because the things that are worrying me, I can't talk to them. I can talk to them about the technical challenges, of course, but not my own emotional challenges. I need to show them that I know exactly what I'm doing. And it's not my place to put my burden on them. And it's not their place to carry it either. So I had to find someone outside of my own team. In my case, I found someone outside the company completely because there was nobody inside that I could talk to. Somebody that I could confide in, share my worries with, and talk about almost anything with. Here's what helps. Get closer to your peers. They can help, and so can your manager. But you can't tell them everything. Find a mentor. And this is a big one. Someone outside your team and someone outside of your reporting line. Can be someone in another part of the business or even outside the company entirely, like it was for me. Someone who gets your contacts, someone that you can think out loud with when you can't talk to your manager or your team, and find that person quickly. Don't wait until you're underwater. Someone that you can just think things through with, and that's worth so much. The more senior you get, the harder it gets, the lonelier it gets. So start finding that person now. So that's the move from engineer to team lead. Yes, it's a different job. The results, they come from your team now. Your experience matters in a completely different way, and you're going to miss some of the hands-on work. But don't forget what's really happening. You're becoming a leader. The people on your team are going to grow because of you. They're going to do their best work because of you. And remember you years from now. You could never do that on your own behind a keyboard. And you're not going to be the best leader on day one. Nobody is. Neither was I. But you'll get better at it every week, the same way that you get good at everything else. Be patient with yourself. Study, spend time, read, find somebody to talk to, and just give it everything. It's a skill and you'll need to learn it. Now go and become the leader that your team needs most of all right now.